Hello, and thank you for joining Conquering Your Credit Reports and Scores. My name is Neil Israel, and I know everybody is excited to get started, so we'll go ahead and jump in. Before we start talking about credit reports and scores directly, though, I do want to say a little bit about the agency Transformance, who is the sponsor of our online workshop today and is also my employer. Transformance is a COA, Council on Accreditation, sponsored accredited organization and has also been in existence for over 40 years, and we've helped over 1.7 million people in those 40 years. Transformance is a HUD-approved multi-state housing organization and is also a United Way service provider. Some of the service lines Transformance offers include credit and budget coaching, which is where an individual can learn about how to manage his or her money. Financial education, and that can really be on a range of topics, including budgeting, 4Cs of credit, credit, any number of credit or budget issues, and that can be for an individual or a small group or a large group, and that can be in person or in a virtual environment as well. Student loan counseling is where we help individuals either figure out the best way to pay off their student loans, or we can help with their student loan paperwork. In addition, for more advanced cases, we can reach out to the student loan creditors themselves with the clients to help them figure out what the best plan is and make inquiries if that's necessary. Our AIM program is a match savings program where an individual over a year will save up to $300 that is matched, and it is limited to folks that live in certain Dallas community areas, and you can reach out to Transformance and we can give you more information about whether or not you might qualify for that. C2 Safe is a program that is for individuals that are Dallas Community College students. It's a partnership between Dallas Community College and Dallas Community College schools and Transformance, and it's an effort to keep students in school. Our housing coaching is available for individuals and families at multiple levels, multiple areas within the housing arena. And I say that, be it pre-purchase all the way to folks that are ready to rent, all the way to folks that are wanting to consider all of the financial elements of owning a house, to those folks that are struggling and might need to consider options such as foreclosure. So that's where our housing coaching and counseling really can speak to individuals at a number of different spaces within the housing spectrum. Debt management coaching is for individuals that want to get a hold of their debt and try to work out the best way for getting out of debt. We can help individuals and families come up with plans, and in addition, we will work directly with creditors to help both the client and the creditor come to win-win solutions. Bankruptcy counseling is an area where we are licensed in 44 states to provide both pre-filing and pre-discharge certificates for individuals that qualify for it following receiving counseling. So basically, when individuals want to either file for Chapter 9 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy, they're required to get financial coaching, financial counseling from an organization like ours. We provide that counseling, and then we provide a certificate that can be taken back to the bankruptcy court. We are eligible in 44 states to provide both the pre-discharge and the pre-filing certificates. And those are some of the lines of service that Transformance provides. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you more about those. Even if you're an existing client, please feel free to mention to your coach that you have interest in one of those areas, and we'd love to give you more information. All right, so let's talk about what Transformance does. Let me tell you a little bit more about how our agency helps individuals reach financial stability through the story of one of our clients. Ben came to Transformance several years ago after experiencing an expensive divorce, living out of his car, and paying all of his expenses with credit cards. Through Transformance's budgeting classes, Ben was able to learn how to live within a budget. Through a debt management plan, Ben was able to pay off of his creditors and learn to live in a reasonable and responsible fashion. After learning how to budget and clearing up his credit issues, Ben went on to run several successful companies and is now a leading pillar of his community. This just kind of highlights one of our best examples, but also shows you that Transformance deals with issues that are very serious, because credit and debt issues can be very, very serious and impact people in major ways. And when we can help people get on their feet again and see the path towards financial health, there's unending number of benefits. So let's talk about credit reports and scores. In this online session, we'll talk about the following topics: credit report basics, credit score facts, protecting your score, and what tools are available to you. So credit report basics just talks a little bit about the credit report itself, what's on there, what's not on there, what information you can expect. From credit score facts, we talk a little bit about what does a credit score really mean to you as a consumer, and what can a better or worse credit score do for you as you live your everyday life as a consumer. And then protecting your score, we just have some tips for keeping your score where you want it to be. And then in the final section, tools, we talk about a tool that can help you as you maintain maintain on a plan for keeping your credit score in good financial health. Okay, so what is on a credit report? Credit reports contain identifying information, inquiries into your account summary, and public records. So you can see here we've got 5 sections on this page. The identifying information above is just very, very basic, kind of rapid fire questions. Then the account summary, that includes just basic information about the lines of the trade lines, what we would consider open accounts, that include both the date reported, so the date last activity reported, the trade open, the amount of the credit, the balance, the current rating, and then what historical delinquencies are on the account. In the next section, we've got the inquiries, including the inquiries that were submitted by the client, in addition to inquiries that were submitted by others. And then in the final section, we've got a public record listing, and that's really generally public record items that are judgments against you. So it's often best to have as much of a limit there as possible. So what is a credit report? The credit reports are issued by 3 credit reporting bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Just to keep in mind that the credit history is there for a limited amount of time, 7 years in general for negative information. Bankruptcy information can stay on for a total of 10 years, but it's not kept forever, whereas positive information is actually maintained forever. As a consumer, you are eligible to receive 1 free report per bureau per year at this site only, www.annualcreditreport.com. On the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, The credit reporting agencies inform lenders about your credit worthiness, and in turn, those credit lenders decide the amount of risk required to take you on as a client. Based on a 2012 report from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, credit reporting agencies Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion provided information on 1.3 billion consumer trade lines. So there's a lot on a monthly basis. So there's a lot of information coming into those organizations, and that's really where it becomes really critical that consumers stay vigilant in watching what information is shared with them and how that information is being used. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is an agency that's primarily responsible for education and protection when it comes to consumer finances. So in 2012, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau came out with a report that sort of summarized activity with relation to the major consumer reporting bureaus. And what it found was that somewhere between 32 and 38 million reports were potentially incorrect. There were potentially that many incorrect items on credit reports. And that comes primarily, I would say, because of the sheer number of open accounts that there are. So it becomes really critical to become diligent about managing that number and making sure that the information on the credit report is accurate. What we'll show you on the last slide is, one of the last slides is a credit report checklist from the CFPB. And the credit report checklist is a great tool that enables you to kind of have memory of all the things you want to make sure are accurate on that checklist, and just gives you on that credit report, and it gives you a single place to check off and say, okay, that's correct, that's there, that's information that's right, to be able to hold on to keep yourself in check, to make sure that everything that you want to be on your checklist, on your credit report, is there. And really the difficulty that the credit reporting agencies have in terms of keeping things accurate is really a function of the fact that they get so many millions of records on a monthly basis. And that's why it's contingent upon the consumer to remain vigilant about checking their credit report and making sure that all the information that is on the report is correct. So let's talk a little bit about credit scores. FICO scores, which are the credit scores that are used, are by the major three companies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, are calculated based solely on information within the consumer credit reports maintained by all those credit reporting agencies. There is an inverse relationship between credit scores and credit risk. In other words, it's much easier to lend $5,000 to Bob with a FICO score of 770 versus Jenny with a credit score of 450. Each individual actually has various credit scores from the FICO scoring model, because each of the various national credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, has its own credit score for the individual. So what is the credit score impact? It can impact your applying for a credit card. Lenders want to know the risk that they're taking by lending you money. FICO scores are the credit scores used by 90% of top lenders to determine your credit risk. Your FICO score, and you have three, can affect how much money a lender will lend you and the interest at which you'll be lent the money. And higher FICO scores can help you qualify for better rates from lenders, which of course can save you money in the long term. On this next slide, we talk about what are those factors that actually impact what the credit score is. So payment history, which is how long you've been paying on bills and how regular you make your payments, how on time you are, how timely you are in your payments, that makes up 35% of your FICO score. The amount you owe, makes up 30%, and that's the amount you owe relative to what you actually make financially. The length of credit history makes up 15%. The amount of new credit makes up 10%, and the various types of credit make up 10%. So if it's all the same type of credit, you're likely to get a low percentage on that score, but if it's more varied, you're more likely to get a higher score. So what are some tips for raising your score? The main thing is be responsible. Pay your bills on time, be vigilant about knowing what's on your credit report, and understand that you are the person that can control your credit report. Don't go to outside agencies that promise you something that they can't back up, like, we'll fix your credit score for you, because they can't. The only thing that can, quote unquote, fix your credit score is time and good behavior. If you're having problems with your credit score, because over time negative behavior falls off, and through better behavior you'll improve your credit file. Of course, call Transformance, because we're always willing and ready and able to help you work on those patterns of behavior that will help you improve your credit score over time, and building it over time helps you maintain it over time. What are some of the things that you can achieve by getting better credit? One, you get faster loans, you get better decisions in the loans that you are applying for, more credit is available to you, and the credit rates that you get are lower overall. So when in those times when there's no interest cards, you see a lot of people that are getting access to those because their credit rating is better than maybe the average, which is just under 700. So this is for score-based pricing. This is just an illustration that for somebody that has a score of 760, between 760 and 850, that's the top tier, they can actually save almost $400,000 or over $400,000 versus someone with a subprime score that is going to be spending $868,000 for that $300,000 mortgage over that 30-year period. So this next slide just illustrates that even if your score's in great shape, if you have major events, or maybe even not such major events, such as a maxed out card, there will be a sizable impact. So a maxed out card can be 10 to 30 points for pretty good credit, versus 25 to 45 points if you have excellent credit, all the way to bankruptcy, which is 130 to 150 points for somebody with pretty good credit, to almost 250 points to 40 if the score is 780, which is getting towards the near perfect area. So the key thing to remember about credit repair, you're in control. Time and tide is what helps you, and do not go to those people that promise you things that they cannot fulfill. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you is Pocket Change USA, which is Transformance's application available on the both the Google Play Store and also the Apple App Store. It's an application that is geared towards helping you learn in the financial education area, and the plan tool is especially helpful in helping you with activities that you're learning, such as if you're learning how to improve your credit, planning can remind you of the activities that you've got to undergo, and give you reminders, give you positive reinforcement to get that activity done. Thank you very much for joining Credit Reports and Scores today. My name is Neil Israel. I do welcome you to join us at www.transformanceusa.org, or feel free to call us at 1-800-249-2227. Again, that's 1-800-249-2227.